Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome to the Coach Howard Basketball Show. I'm so excited to have you here, and I'm more excited to have my friend here, my partner, my best friend for a long, long time, Coach Jerry Watson, the GOAT, one of the legends of AAU basketball, Mr. Jerry Watson. Jerry, welcome, man, to my show.
Hey, I'm elated to be here. You know, the timing of this couldn't be any better. We're at the brink of the high school season. Hey, let's get into something.
Hey, really, let's kick it off, Jerry. Um, All Ohio 1986. What prompted you to start an AAU basketball program?
Well, I got a call from Napoleon Allen, and he was the AAU chairman, and I had some teams up at Glenwood, and he asked me to get in a tournament at St. Stephen's. Unbeknownst to me, that led to us going to Jonesboro, Arkansas, and qualifying for the Nationals, and from there, it just kind of took off.
Can you remember your first team that you ever had?
Yeah, Jermaine Geis. We had Greg Simpson, who went on to be a two-time Mr. Basketball. The Jelks brothers out of Sydney. Just to see who's up next, and just the opportunity to continue to work with good players.
What is the most uplifting to you when to see your coaches move on, to see your players move on and play in high school? I mean, to play in college, play overseas. Then, as we see them with families, with kids, that has to be very uplifting for you to see that.
Well, I think that basketball is a tool that I like to see our players utilize that to go on to do better things in life. We've had a lot of great basketball players. We have doctors, NBA coaches, GMs of programs. So it's an array of things that evolves from the participation of in All Ohio.
For people out there that's looking, there's a lot of people looking, a lot of people that knows about All Ohio basketball. What is All Ohio all about? Because I can sit here and I can tell them what All Ohio is all
I
about,
think
but you, the
All
director.
Ohio is first of all, it's a brand, okay? And second of all, we play on the Nike circuit, which is the most elite circuit that you can play on. And not everybody's good enough for All Ohio. But if you're good enough for All Ohio, I don't think you have any other choice you can make.
Why should someone play with All Ohio, like you just said, opposed to maybe playing with someone else where they don't get the opportunities to play in the EYBL? Why should they play with All Ohio and play in the EYBL?
Well, I think when you look at basketball, there's the NBA, right? And then there's the EYBL. It's the second biggest component. 82% of the NBA players have been through the EYBL.
Really?
And so when you look at statistics, you don't go against statistics when you know they can win for you.
Well, that's good about All Ohio. So now let's talk about the All Ohio Showcase coming up next week on the 26th, next Saturday. One full day of basketball, which I've had several people tell me that we should move it and we should do 2 days because we could double it up. But it's one day of high school basketball and at two locations, Reynoldsburg Summit and Reynoldsburg Livingston. It's on the screen. Now, that's at Reynoldsburg Summit campus. You have let's talk about some of the teams that are coming and when did you start this and why did you start this?
Well, this started a long time ago when we had Kevin Garnett and all of those people. And then we kind of went away from it for a little while. And then the timing, we just thought it was time to bring it back, about 7, 8 years ago. And, the format is just to try to grab a lot of good players and showcase their teams in Columbus, Ohio.
And now it's just everybody wants to play in it because it's funny because as I was reaching out to coaches about the show, there were several coaches that mentioned to me that they want to be a part of it next year. How does that make you feel knowing that there's just so many coaches that would love to be a part of what we do as a program?
Well, I think what it is, it kind of represents our vision for what we want to see in basketball. But what's so phenomenal this year is the four state champions last year came out of this event. And that's phenomenal to see four teams go on, start with us, and go on and win and capture it all.
And those four teams, by the way, will be back in it again next week. The four state champions, Richmond Heights out of Cleveland, Ohio, Akron St. Vincent St. Mary out of Akron, Pickerington Central from Pickerington, Ohio, and Cincinnati Taft out of Cincinnati, which those coaches are going to be my guests today as me and Jerry will sit and talk with them. They've been a big part of the All Ohio program as well. And that's another thing, too, is that, you know, we're involved in so many different aspects of the basketball that, you know, it just makes it great when their teams come in and really make it a spectacular. You know, it's really nice. Touch on that a minute.
Well, when you do events like this, and a lot of people think they're easy, these events are just based on years of relationships that you have out there. And when you have good relationships, you can get good teams in because they know what you're putting out as a product of your event. And also top-notch players. And then just to bring basketball into Central Ohio, I think Central Ohio has some of the best basketball around the state.
I do too. I do too. Before we leave today, we're going to talk about the shot clock. Should the shot clock be brought in here for Ohio basketball? Because there's several coaches, they want to do a round table and they want to talk about the shot clock. I'm all in favor of the shot clock. What do you think about it?
Well, I like the shot clock because it enables you to get a true champion. Like you can't stall the ball, you can't hold it or whatever. Whatever strategy you have, it has to be condensed into the shot clock strategy.
I like that. It makes you change your game.
Yeah, you have to change your game. You have to come. You're playing what they call real basketball, and not to take anything away, but it's amazing to see who votes on that because that's going to change the complexity of the game, and also it gives kids a preparation for what they're going to see at the college level.
We've got a real legend coming up as our first guest, Dru Joyce. And a lot of you know Coach Dru Joyce from Akron St. Vincent St. Mary, who coached LeBron James and Malachi Branham and some of the top players that have come out of the state of Ohio. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. Jerry, before we get into that, can you want to go through the games that are going to be played at the sites for everybody that's watching?
Well, again, it's Saturday, and the venue takes place at both Reynoldsburg high schools, and we kick in at 11 o'clock at Reynoldsburg Livingston with International and Northside Christian. An interesting game. Northside Christian is trying to get themselves ready for the City League North, and this is a good chance for them to do that. And then when you look at some of the games at the other sites, you know, you've got Centennial and Upstart program trying to prove what they can do in the City League North against an always scrappy Whitehall. And then as you go down, the games beef up. You know, you've got, you know, Youngstown, Cheney going against Grove City. Grove City kind of found themselves last year and had a pretty respectable year. I think that's a good challenge for both teams. You know, as we go down, you know, you got Independence, Northland, Dayton, Dunbar. Like that matchup. It's a intriguing matchup. Tahon's trying to get Northland, you know, rebooted over there, and I think that's a good test for them, you know, in the hometown. Again, Dayton, Wayne, you know, Akron, Buchtel. Hey, those are teams with good. Laurent Rice, you know, probably one of the premier, you know, senior guards in the state. And, you know, Buchtel, they're going to bring it because they Buchtel. So you got some good games. And then as you rise down the chart, okay, you got Cincinnati Taft, another state champion going against Akron Hoban. You know, just good basketball. Harvest Prep, Richmond Heights, you know, two teams that go deep into the tournament every year. You know, that's a great game. And then Afrocentric, Lutheran East. I mean, you can't get a better early season matchup than that. And, but those games are over at Livingston. Then when you go, you got Pickerington Central going against Spire Academy, a high school entertaining some prep school action. Devin Royal, one of the finest forwards in the land, be on display. So it's going to be good. Reynoldsburg, hey, they're taking on Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. Andy Moore does a great job coaching. That's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to that game.
So you've just went through the list. Which game would you think would be the one that people need to really watch on Saturday? Give me one game. If you was to say one game of both sites, give me the best game at Summit and the best game at Reynoldsburg. They're all good games, but there's got to be one.
They're great games. The game that's really intriguing to me is the Pick Central Spire Academy. I mean, that's some highlight stuff. Spire Academy is a prep school. Pick Central is a defending state champion, and they have quite a roster over there at Pick Central.
So what about Livingston?
Livingston, when you look at that, I like the Harvest Prep game, and I also like the Walnut Ridge Westerville Central. Dom Akins is just very electric with his game. He can get all over the place. Just a great little guard. I mean, he's going to be exciting.
I tell you, I watched Westerville Central scrimmage the other day against Pick Central, and even with the loss of Donovan Hunter, who went on Spires, who is at Spires right now, that's really doing great things. They looked really well. They looked really good.
Well, Westerville Central, you got to understand, they had a lot of young guys on their roster last year. So with returners, you always kind of expound on having experience.
Well, right now what we're going to do is we're going to take a small, quick break. And when we come back, we'll either have Coach Drew Joyce on, or we'll dive into the top 10 teams in Central Ohio, Coach Howard's top 10, and his top 15 players. And we'll be back in a minute.
Hello, I am Annie J. Ross Womack, the Executive Director of the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, and I'm here to talk to the parents and student athletes about a very important topic. The NCAA has instituted different standards for all divisions of student athletes. Before you can play sports in any college or university, you must present a negative trait status or hemoglobin status documentation. Your hemoglobin status is taken at birth with the newborn screening. And what they do is they run your blood for any abnormality or any birth defect. There are thousands of newborn screening birth defects in this country. For more information about sickle cell disease, sickle cell trait testing, you can call our offices at 614-228-0157. Or you can visit us via web at ohiosicklecell.org.
All right, welcome back. And I'm so excited about our next guest that Jerry and I have known for quite a long time. Coach Drew Joyce from Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. I'm looking forward to talking with you, Coach. Hey, Coach, how you doing, man?
Doing well. It's good to be here. How you doing, Jerry?
Hey, Drew,
Thanks
I'm
for having
good.
me.
Hey, Coach. So it looks like you just relaxing on a Sunday afternoon. I appreciate you taking the time to come in with us, man, and talk a little basketball. How's the weather down there in Akron? Did y'all get a bunch of snow?
We were far enough south that we just got a little bit of the snow, so we're all right. It's a little cold up here, but no snow, and hey, that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. How you guys looking over there this year, Coach?
Well, I think when it's time to be good, we're going to be good. Yeah. Right now, we're kind of inexperienced, so we're trying to learn a lot, and the tough part of our schedule is kind of front end loaded. So, we're trying to get it all together, but I believe we'll be good when it really counts, which is at the end of February and into March.
Coach, last year you guys won the state championship. How do you follow up with that after such a great year you had last year?
Well, the motivation is there for the guys. We have a chance, something that I don't believe in recent history has been done since with competitive balance, we've been moved up Division One. So now we have an opportunity to finish what we almost did in 2019 when they moved us to Division One and lost in that championship game to a great team from Cincinnati Moeller. We have an opportunity to do it again. That's the motivation, and the guys are buying in. They want that feather in their cap, if you will. That they love to be able to get. We were able to move up and take that big school crown.
Drew, hey, you my guy. You've had a great career as a high school coach. What is different about this year's version versus some of the other great teams you've had?
Yeah, honestly, Jerry, I got some length that I haven't had in a long time. I'm talking about multiple guys. Of course, Darius, he's 6'10", and then we have a 6'7" sophomore, 2'6" juniors, and 2'6" wings. So we got some length that maybe in years past we didn't have, but we're still going to be kind of a guard dominated team, but I just think that with that length and athleticism, we can definitely create some problems for whoever we place.
Well, Drew, I know that you always are one of the guys that play one of the perennial schedules around the country. How are you getting this team prepared for what you have to face this season?
Yeah, Jerry, I wish I had, some kind of a magic potion. I could just have them drink it up and they'd be ready. But I'm trying to make them understand that this schedule this year is definitely tougher than last. And it is a national schedule. So we have a chance to do something really great. But, it starts next week in Reddick, and, we just kind of look at it one game at a time, the old cliches, but there's so much truth to them. We just got to focus on game as they come and stay focused on that game, and and let the future handle it when it happens. Because there's every game is going to present some challenges to the group, and so there's a lot of room to grow, and so we're excited about it, but. Yeah, it is something that I love to have maybe had this schedule 2 years ago.
One more thing, Drew. When you do a lot of winning, the word expectations kind of gets wrapped around you. How is that with the student body and the fan base for St. V's?
Yeah, every year, we have those St. V boosters and who they leave the state championship telling me, hey, we are reserved our rooms, for next year. So, it add a lot of pressure, but, we're thankful that, we got that kind of support and people wanted to come and watch us and rally around this group of young men. So it's a good thing to have. But, for some of the young guys, they don't understand that the expectation in front of them, trying to help them. It's sometimes difficult to get across to a 15, 16.
Hey, Drew, how did you feel when you first found out that OSHA had moved you up to Division One? That had to be a surprise to you.
No, it's nature of we understand competitive balance. The one thing that I've noticed 2 years ago, well, actually 2019, when we went up, the rule was such that we just had that many kids that were added to the schedule. I mean, to the number because of competitive balance. But what I noticed this year, in 2019, the smallest Division I school had 400 boys in those grades. This year, the smallest Division I is 348. So Ohio schools are shrinking. The high school sizes are shrinking, and right now the attendance at St. Vincent St. Mary has risen. So I just believe we're going to be the one from now on.
So how much of a change is it for you being dominant in one division? Now you're moving up to another division. How much of a difference change is that going to make for you and your guys?
Throughout the season, honestly, we play them all. We play everybody. Most of our schedule is Division I. If they're not Division I, they're the premier teams in Division II or III. So as far as strength of schedule, we're there. Now, hey, I got to be real. When you get to the tournament, at Division II, the first, all the way through the district championship was probably kind of easy for us in the past. From now, all those games are going to be a little bit tougher. So we just have to be able to make sure that we're playing well from the very beginning. We can't have a bad game or a down situation. We have to play from the very beginning. But as far as the schools that we will face, honestly, I don't think they want to face us as much as we don't want to face them.
Well, you're right about that. You guys never run away from no competition. Hey, I'm not going to hold you. A couple more questions real quick. First of all, I know I'll speak for Jerry, man. We're just so appreciative of you continuing to support, come down and play in the All-Ohio event. And I know that people look forward to seeing you because they don't get an opportunity to see Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. They know so much about it. They know it's a storied program. They know you coach LeBron James and Malachi Branham and some of the other top players that come out, your sons included, who, by the way, are doing a great job at the coaching level. But in doing this for as long as you have, what drives you to keep going year after year? What pushes you to keep going? What is your motivation to keep going?
That's a great question. Honestly, it's the young men. Every year we are able to take a new group of young men and mold them and help them to, honestly use basketball to handle some of those life challenges. That's how I've, looked at this all along, that this is, my purpose and what I've enjoyed doing. And so it makes it it is challenging, but the young men that are in our are the kind of young men that you want to have, and hey, you just work with them and help them to grow into the productive members of society. And coming down to play in Jerry's events always good. hey, great competition. It's the way you want to start the season out. A lot of guys want to take an easy one. Hey, I don't believe like that. I say, hey, you want, hey, take it, hey, get it going from the beginning. Don't build this thing. Hey, let my guys know that, hey, this is going to be tough from day one. And so coming down, he always puts us up against a good team. So it makes it a lot of fun and makes it very challenging. So we're excited about this year. I understand it's a Reynoldsburg team that I've talked to some coaches at the Division I level that, hey, Columbus basketball is doing very, very well right now, and there's a lot of players, and I'm hearing that Reynoldsburg has a few.
Well, they've got some young talent that is very athletic and that's very good. So, it's going to be a great game. You're also, and I'm appreciative to have the honor to be a part of it once again, as I was in 2019. But you're also coming down December 17th to the Play-by-Play Classic to play Sierra Canyon and LeBron James' son, who is your family, once again. How does that feel to be able to do that in the state's capital in front of 15,000 people? Because the last time you guys played, it was phenomenal, and that has to make you feel special.
Hey, it's a great game back in 2019, and we're excited to have this opportunity again. But hey, they done beat me twice. I'm looking. Hey, when it comes to that day, we got some business to handle before then. But I want to get one. I want to get one. Nationwide Arena is it's a great place to play, and we and the fans were, hey, basketball fans, Columbus, Dayton, Cincinnati. They hate the game. They come out. So I'm excited. My guys get in that kind of venue because that helps. Those kind of games early on build confidence. Win or lose, it's going to help you down the road. But hey, like I said, Bronny's gotten me twice. I need to get one of them before he goes.
Coach, hey, I want to say thank you very much for coming on, man. We've been knowing each other a long time. You've been knowing the family a long time. We used to do some battles with All Ohio and King James back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. Hey, so I'm just excited to continue supporting and being a part of Ohio basketball. I think Ohio basketball, and I know Jerry feels the same way. I think sometimes we don't get the rep that we deserve. We put out players here, and it speaks volumes for what Jerry's been able to do and what we've on the state. So I'm a big Ohio basketball fan.
Hey, Drew, one more question. George brought me on here. You are the GOAT of high school basketball in the state of Ohio. What is it that you could share with other coaches, the structure of building a state champion as many times as you have?
Well, honestly, Jerry, I think that for me, we have a standard, and nearer than the team, and we don't lower the standard for anyone. I think sometimes guys get a great player and they're afraid to coach him. And I was blessed with LeBron to start coaching him at 10, and I coached him all the way through. I never looked to not coach him or to let him slide or to do those things. And as a coach, when you do that with the best player in the program, the other guy affected, and that's how we've done it. We've done it all the way through with all of our great. They have to live up to the standard. There's no exceptions, and that's what I've done, and I believe in it. And then Jerry, hey, we've established an identity. We're going to sit down and guard you. Hey, there's a lot of great coaches out here. They do a lot of great stuff on the offensive end of the floor. But I still am a old school guy. I think that when you sit down and guard somebody, you defend, and that's what wins championships. So that's who we are. That's going to be our identity. That's how it's been. And I've been telling my guys already, hey, on 5 to 7 that's going to sit down and guard somebody, and whether it's you or not, hey, you just got to step up to this challenge, because that's how it's going to be here.
Hey, and I'm gonna let you go, but the thing that I've always told people, and I coached for 30-something years, defense wins championships. Everybody can score a point. Me and Jerry can get out there and make a layup, but can we defend? Heck no, we can't defend nobody. But if you can guard and you can defend and play defense, you're going to win championships. Coach, you brought up something, and I'm gonna let you go, but you said something that I've told many coaches, and that is, it doesn't matter who your player is, it doesn't matter what his name is, you have to coach him. You cannot be afraid to get on him. And I'm glad you brought that up, and I think a lot of people that's watching this will look at that. So, Coach, thank you very much for coming on. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we both and everybody else watching will look forward to seeing you next Saturday, the 26th, at the All-Ohio Showcase here in Columbus, Ohio.
Drew, my pleasure.
Hey, mine too. Thanks for having. Appreciate it. And hey, I'll see y'all next Saturday.
All right, man. Talk to you. Enjoy your day.
All right. Take care.
Hey, that was the legend, the GOAT, man.
Oh, that's one of the guys. He's done it all. There's nothing that he hasn't done at the high school level. And one thing he said, George, I coach my players, regardless of their name.
And that's important because, a lot of coaches are afraid to coach their best players. They're afraid to get on them. I remember Lorenzo Styles always told me that I want Sonny coached. Get on him. I don't want to be the only one getting on him. Because to me, too many coaches out here, when they've got big-time players, they don't coach them. They don't get in their tail when they need to. They don't tell him what they need to tell him in order for him to do what he needs to do, because they're afraid he's going to get mad or upset or leave or whatever it might be.
I'll tell you, one thing to look at with that is when kids get to the college level and do a lot of transferring, you can tell the kids that's been coached at a high school that have to look up to standards and styles and understand how to adjust. The kids who didn't do that, those are the kids that end up in the portal.
Hey, listen, we're going to take a quick break. I'm looking forward to the next guest, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Man, that was nice, Jay.
It was awesome.
Be right back.
Hello, I am Annie J. Ross Womack, the Executive Director of the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, and I'm here to talk to the parents and student athletes about a very important topic. The NCAA has instituted different standards for all divisions of student athletes. Before you can play sports in any college or university, you must present a negative trait status or hemoglobin status documentation. Your hemoglobin status is taken at birth with the newborn screening. And what they do is they run your blood for any abnormality or any birth defect. There are thousands of newborn screening birth defects in this country. For more information about sickle cell disease, sickle cell trait testing, you can call our offices at 614-228-0157. Or you can visit us via web at ohiosicklecell.org.
Need help with digital marketing? Yamo has what you need to optimize your digital engagement and take your business to that next level. Yamo is a full-service media collective that offers multiple services, including digital marketing, to optimize your company's success. These services include promotional and posting assistance, social media analysis, as well as market analysis. If interested, please reach out through the website or the email featured below.
Hey, welcome back. One of the things that we want to do right now is we're going to talk about Coach Howard's top 10 teams. I've been waiting to do that, but before I do that, I want you to, if you need furniture, visit City Living. You can go online to cityliving.store. There is a very nice furniture store. They've got whatever you need, actually. We got our chairs came from there. They've got all types of nice, new, modern furniture. So if you get a chance, go out and visit City Living on East Main Street. Jerry, it's time for the Coach Howard top 10 Central Ohio teams.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. They're going to pop up on the screen here in a minute. And let's start out with number 10 team, the Greyhounds of Grove City. Hey, they returning some starters. They got size. I watched them the other day. Touch on them real quick.
Hey, I think Grove City, like I said, the way that they concluded last season, you got to put them in the mix to be talked about. And I'm anxious to see what they can do against a real scrappy Youngstown Cheney this week.
Number 9, Harvest Prep Warriors.
Hey, all they do is win. I mean, their football program has been great. It carries over to basketball. Coach Dennis, year after year, has put together a competitive team. He's got a nice young point guard in Roddy. I'm anxious to see them play. They may be a little higher than 9.
Hey, man, Coach Dennis puts it together every year. He's been winning ever since he's been there. They always seem to find a way to get there when it's state tournament time. Number 8, Reynoldsburg Raiders.
Reynoldsburg Raiders, young, exciting. Andy Moore is a great coach. He's did a stint at the college level. and he's really got the city of Reynoldsburg excited about that basketball team.
I'm excited to see them as well. They are also will be playing Akron St. Vincent St. Mary in our All Ohio Showcase next week. Very exciting young team. Number 7, Bishop Reedy. Now, Jerry, Bishop Reedy, and that's my guy over there. They've got a nice team. They've got size. They can shoot the ball. Bishop Reedy.
I like Bishop Reedy. I like the way that they finished last season in the tournament. They've got some experience back. Tony Basutti has been around the block when it comes to coaching at various stops. He's really excited about what they can accomplish over there.
Look for them. The next one's coming up is a surprise to many, but not to me. Number 6 is Hilliard Bradley. And the reason I said that is because they may think that they've lost a lot, but Hilliard Bradley hasn't lost much at all. Matter of fact, they're going to come back. They're going to be able to shoot the ball, and they play the Hilliard Bradley, Coach Norris style of play, as you know.
When I think about Hilliard Bradley, if you're a chess player, he's that type of coach. The strategy is always intact. You have to beat them. They don't beat themselves.
Woo, that's a lot. Number 5, Westerville North.
Hey, they can shoot the ball. They've got some kids that are very competitive. I'm looking for them. I like where they're at. I just want them to be able to prove it. But I like what they got over there, and they should have a pretty – I'm looking at them as 22 games. They should win 17.
Well, you know they had the transfer come over from Walnut Ridge.
I know that.
And that's kind of why I put them where I put them, because of what they had from last year, and then to bring the transfer over this year. I think they're going to be hard to stop.
They have some competitive kids, and like I said, let's see if they can hold that banner at number 5.
Number 4, Afrocentric, one of the premier powerhouses in the state. They've got one of the top players in the country, number 2 player in the state in Dalen Swain. So let me ask you, he's injured right now, but word on the street has it he might be back for our showcase.
Okay.
Talk about them, because they're all around pretty good.
Afrocentric, they got a little guard named the little LaRon Fuller. He is a defensive stalwart. And then when you add Swain, you know, they had the transfer come in.
Cortez.
I'm going to say if there are 4 in this area is dynamite.
Well, this area is dynamite. I may be wrong on it.
I'm not saying you're wrong. The area is dynamite because, hey, you know, you got to rank them. You got to start somewhere.
Number 3, Olentangy Orange. And I'll tell you why I put them there. When I look at Olentangy Orange, and I've watched them 2 or 3 times, they've got size, they've got big guards, they play hard, they can shoot the ball, they rebound the basketball, and they never stop.
Coach Kalo comes from a family tree. There's some genetics involved here. Heard a lot about them. Everybody's raving about them. That may be a little high, but like I said, the Kalos do coach, and he's got some good players. I want to really watch this ranking.
My number 2 team comes at no surprise right now. Number 2, Dublin Jerome.
Hey, the way they concluded last year, Nutter's exciting. That's a good team, and I like them at number 2.
And I've talked to Coach. He's got size, got a couple of nice young guys, and they're coached well. And I look for them to possibly meet my number 1 team in the regional finals.
Well, they're like I said, Jerome is good. So that's one I can live with.
Number 1, as you all know who that is, and that's the Pickerington Central Tigers. There's not a whole lot I can really say that everybody else doesn't know. I've watched them a couple of times. We both watched them the other night, and they look like they can make a run. My only problem is I want to see what the guys is coming off the bench, what they can contribute to the starters and give them a break. That's what I want to see.
I tell you, Devin Royal is one of the finest forwards, not only in Ohio, but in the country. I like the starting five. I love Jawan Turner. He
Love
reminds
him.
me he did everything they asked him to do. He put winning over his own personal goals, and he's going to have an expanded role this year. Gavin Headings, I mean, this team is pure excitement.
Pure excitement. That's my top 10. We'll talk about it again. And sometime it's going to fluctuate because you're going to have teams that's going to come in. You're going to have teams that's going to go out.
Oh yeah, that's why you have to start a ranking somewhere. So where you start is cool, but where you finish is really what it's about.
Well, it's really something because we've got waiting right now is the coach of the number one team in the state, Division I state champions, Coach Eric Kruger. We're excited to have him. Coach, how you doing, man?
How you doing, Coach?
Good.
Good.
It's good to see you, Coach. I don't know if you got a chance to see. I just put out my Coach Howard's top 10, and you guys, as expected, are number one in my top 10. Right now, they say you're number one in the state. Coach, I guess the question that I have for you, and first of all, thanks for coming on the show. How you guys were state champs last year. You're picked to come back again and maybe repeat this year. How difficult is that going to be for you to keep your guys engaged and to follow up on what you did last year?
Well, I mean, I think that it starts from, building blocks. We talk about the process. We talk about focusing on that. We talk about winning the day. Doing the things we need to do to become a great team. Be great defensively, be great rebounding the basketball on both sides. Offensively, we want to share the basketball. And it really just kind of goes back to the basics. I mean, obviously, we know, and we all know, me and the coaches as well as the kids, that we have a chance to do something special and get all the way back. But, right now we're just focused on, having a good practice on Monday, having a good practice Tuesday, day by day. I think that's the best way for the kids, just focus on the process and really not worry about all that, honestly. Let the results kind of take care of themselves. Just kind of really lock in and just stay focused on getting better each day. Try to simplify things for the kids.
Jerry?
Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I know when you win the state championship, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders, and then you win it and it gets lifted off. What is it you guys are doing to really keep everybody tuned in 1 through 10 or how many ever you have on the bench? Because I know it's hard to keep guys happy, but what are you guys doing far as developing your role players? We know your stars.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we got some really good kids that are coming off the bench for us that people might not know as much about yet, but they will as the year goes on. Competition's been really good as far as in practice. We want to. I think the kids see some of the younger kids. I think they kind of see the process. And there's a couple kids that are younger that might not be starters right now, but they're hungry. They want to be. They want to be in a rotation. They want to have a chance to contribute. They want to be ready if a number is called, if someone were to get hurt that might start ahead of them right now. It's just that iron sharpens iron with the kids. The kids that are on the team, even if they did not play a whole lot last year, they were dressing during the tournament. They were part of the state title run. So I think they feel like they want to bring something to the table now. With a chance to have a bigger role and contribute to to a whole group. But I think that, the kids are hungry. We talk about being humble and hungry. I think our guys are definitely hungry still, and that's very important because it is a weird feeling because you're coming off one state and some days you leading into the season, I felt like in the summer a little bit. I thought we were a little off in the summer. We had some things going on that everything wasn't really wanted it to be. I thought the fall once we got to the fall, things have really picked up, and guys are locked in, guys are tuned in. It's just, I mean, it's really just a mentality, JL. I mean, our guys know winning, they want to win, and they're hungry to win more. Like it's just really a mentality with our group of kids program and with our coaching staff as well. We're not, I thought, for example, it's a fine line, that we got to try to find a way with people patting us on the back, saying you guys are doing great, you guys won last. That doesn't really matter right now. We want to focus on doing what we can do this year, and I think you know finding that right mix of positive and sometimes negatives to stay on the kids and really balance it out. It's just we just got to get better every single day, and we talk about it all the time. But it's a mentality with our kids, and they are definitely hungry to have a great season and make another run.
Coach, you guys, year in and year out, you know, play one of the toughest non-conference schedules, and it prepares your kids for to be able to be ready for the tournament. What is your thought process when you, Coach Stu, or your coaches, Coach Devin? What is your thought process when y'all sit down and y'all put together your uh, non-conference schedule?
I mean, on our end, we want to play at a level and play. I'll use an example. Our schedule is so good year in and year out, and I'm aware of it. We've got a kid. We've had kids in the past that are high level kids that could leave for a prep school. We've had a kid this year. Obviously, he could have made that decision if he wanted to, but he wants to be here, and part of that is our schedule we play is probably the closest thing for a public school that is not a prep school. We play a great schedule, and our kids really thrive off of that. It prepares us for the tournament. It maintains kids that are really talented because you're playing high level competition, so it's the best of both worlds. There's a lot of high schools that don't play a very high level schedule, and you see those kids leave quite a bit for the prep route. I'm pretty tuned in as far as making sure that we play the best schedule we can possibly play to not only prepare us for the tournament, but challenge us throughout the year to deal with adversity. If that means we lose a couple games because we played, most teams around here are not playing. We're okay with that. And I think it really gives us an edge going into the tournament. At the time when we get to the tournament, we've kind of seen everything. We've seen a lot of different flavors of teams. We've seen a lot of variety. And it prepares us well for the tournament by playing that kind of high level competition throughout the season. But the biggest thing is to challenge the kids. We want the kids to believe that we can play anyone, anywhere, at any time. We'll line up with anybody. We're always in the flying of the hoop. We're going to Florida this year for a tournament. Our non-conference schedule is always good. Obviously, with all Ohio kickoff, we're playing Spire, playing Afrocentric, non-league game. I'm sure there's a few I'm missing. So I playing Centerville at Nationwide Arena as well. So we definitely push our kids to play the best of the best because we want to be the best of the best year in and year out. And the only way to do that is to play the best teams we can.
I know Jerry's got another question, but what I want to say is, I want to give you praises, man, because you've done something over the last 11 years, man. You have kept your staff intact. Like, you don't find many schools that keep their staff. Coach Emerson is new. He's been with you a few years, but you, Coach Stu, and Coach Howard, you guys have been together for 10, 11 years, and that speaks volumes. That says a lot when you're building a program that you guys have built over there at Pickerington Central. I mean, you've built a great program. And I just wanted to speak on that. I know Jerry has a question for you.
Coach, when you win state championships, the word catalyst always comes into play. The guy that I really like, I thought he did everything you guys wanted him to. Let's expound on Jawan Turner. I love this guy as a catalyst.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. Juwan is taking that step. Um, you know, within our program, you go through it a little bit. You know, there's been a lot of kids that go through a tough year. Now that tough year could come as a freshman. That tough year could come as a sophomore. It might even come as a junior. But when you're a special player like Jawan Turner, who played and started every single game as a sophomore for us, you know, his tough year, to be honest with you, was probably his freshman year. You know, he was on varsity, but he played some JV. He was kind of up and down a little bit. You know, I always knew and I always felt that he was going to be a special player. So I felt like what you guys saw on Friday night at the preview is just the tip of the iceberg. That's because you're gonna. I think it's kind of his coming out party a little bit. Now I've seen it daily because he's been in an open gym and in our workouts and everything we do. But Juwan is so steady. You know, last year as a sophomore, you know, he had big moments. He had huge moments in the district finals against Old Tennessee Liberty. He had huge moments throughout the tournament and throughout the season. But he's also playing with Sonny Styles and Devin Royals and the guys we had, obviously. So now this year, going into his junior year, it's kind of time to kind of just blow the roof off. He's ready to really have a great season. I think that's what you kind of saw on Friday night against against Walnut Ridge, and that was a great matchup, by the way, between him and Dom. In the game there, they're both great point guards. But he's a special player, man. He's got an old school game. He's always under control. He's got some very he's very skilled. He's really improved his shot. He's shooting the ball extremely well. Off season, going into his junior year, he's really shooting the basketball. I think the sky's the limit for him, to be honest with you, Jerry.
Well, I think what happens is here's a kid that, as a junior, has a chance to win 2 state championships. That's not normal around this area.
Right. No, that's true. His sense of urgency and his it's all taken off. Like he's really very locked in. He's getting extra work after practice, all that type of stuff. All those things that you see a special player do in our program as time goes on. You go back to Ibby Watson and Jalen Tate, Karis LeVert, Jay Sean Tate, Adrian Nelson, Jelon Garcia, so on, Sterling Manley, Jeremiah Francis. Like, Jelon's that next guy. That conversation. Sonny did, obviously, before he graduated, left early, but Juwan Turner got a chance to be a special player for us this year. He's got a very quiet confidence about himself. I just think it's a the maturity both athletically, academically, and his daily approach. Everything is improved. And I think he's just ready to really put it all together this year. And have a chance to, be a kid to win 2 state titles, obviously, is something I'm sure he's excited about that. And all our kids are, obviously. But he's special this year. I think he's going to be special, Jerry.
Coach, one more question, and because we got to get to the top, okay? How has it been to coach a player the caliber of Devin Royal? I think he's one of the finest forwards in the country. I mean, but I see him a lot. But you expound on that.
Yeah, I mean, Devin is a blessing to coach because of his work ethic. He has outworked everyone, and he's a kid. I know you guys kind of know it well. He's up at 5 a.m. every day. He's getting workouts in with Coach Sloan, and it's incredible. It's incredible to see how hard he has worked from his eighth grade year, seventh to eighth grade year down at Ridgeview. I knew him down then, obviously, and then into his freshman year. Even when we go back to Ohio State team camp going into his freshman year, I was telling the coaches, I'm like, "Hey, we're not going to be able to keep this guy on JV, guys. he just, and he wasn't, he knows how to play the game. He's extremely skilled. I think he's a throwback player, Jerry. I mean, because when he grew up, going back to when I met him in fourth grade and fifth grade when he was in Pickerington, and coached a little bit of AAU with Coach Hedgepath and Andrew Hedgepath, Coach Hedgepath's son, and R.J. Keachler, and some of those kids. He was a five. He was playing the center. He was so he was down low, and so you go all the way back to that point and go back to seventh and eighth grade. His footwork is incredible around the basket. So also another thing he does really well, which I'm sure you guys would agree with, is since he has that old school game, he finishes through contact very well. He finishes at the rim very well. Body control, taking contact, all those things. I think he's built his game from the inside out, which is very unique compared to a lot of kids in today's game of basketball. A lot of kids you see shooting threes and at a young age, and they might float on the perimeter at a young age just because they're tall and they kind of work outside. And it's like you almost got to get them back to being around the basket and doing those things. Now Devin was opposite. He was around the basket because he played the five when he was in seventh, eighth grade. And then his freshman year, he was kind of a quasi 5/4. And then his sophomore year, he started to expand, started to work his way down, all the way up until now where he's a full-blown wing. So what's nice about it is he's got the versatility to do both. He can step out and handle the basketball, shoot threes. He can catch on the short corner area, catch at the free throw line, the elbow area. Obviously, he can finish around the basket and paint. He's athleticism as far as his bounce to the rim is special. He's a special player. I think he's got a chance to be a pro. And I've seen a couple of pros. He's right there. He's right in line with them. With Karish and Jay Sean. And the biggest thing, he just got to continue to stay at it, continue to work hard. But he has an old school game from the way he's been built at a young age, and that he's grown into a wing. And now he's a full-blown wing, but he has all those fundamentals of learning the game the right way, footwork, being around the basket, being able to hit a layup at the age of fourth, fifth grade as opposed to shooting threes. I mean, that's very key for him. He is an old-school throwback player, but he's got a lot of flash and high-level athleticism that jumps off the page.
Coach, we want to thank you for coming on the show. You're my guy. You've always been part of the All Ohio program as far as planning all of our events, and we sure appreciate you. I know I speak for Jerry as well. Devin is, Devin is by far the number one player in the state, but you've had several of those over your time here, top players in the state. And it just goes to show that the great job that you're doing. Jawan Turner, in my book, is the number one point guard in Central Ohio. In my book, I think he's the number one point guard in Central Ohio. And I think, I was telling the coach yesterday, he's only going to get better. A college coach, he's only going to get better. And you're playing in the play-by-play, which is a rematch of the state championship game. That's going to be huge. Everybody's going to want to see that because they say you're number one, Centerville's number two. What a rematch to have, isn't it?
Hey, you can't get a better rematch at that point of the beginning of the high school season.
That's going to be crazy. And I could have you elaborate on that, but we got to get out of here. But real quick, how is that to play them again so early? Real quick.
I mean, they're obviously got a great team. They returned a lot of guys. They've added a couple of new guys. The kid from CJ, Powell, and then there's a kid from if it comes there, I'm not exactly sure the school back kind of 937 area code area that can play as well. They got a great team. To play them that early, we're going to be ready to roll. They'll obviously be ready for us, so we got to make sure that we continue to do the things that we do on our end, be who we are. We're not going to really change for anybody. And I think that was key last year going into the state title. We talked about a lot of things after we had beat St. Ed's, and at the end of the day, I told my coaching staff, I said, we got to do what we've been doing all year. We got to be who we are. We got to, blitz the ball screen. We got to attack these guys. We got to be aggressive. We got to get the ball around the basket. And again, kind of, with Devin Royal, it kind of goes our team a little bit. We talk about it, but we want to defend and rebound, and we want to be more of an old school type of team, and we want to be physical. We want to be athletic. We want to attack the basket. We want to put up 53 pointers a game. That's just not. I don't think it's going to be beneficial for us. We have the ability to knock down shots and shoot, but we want to be the aggressor. I think that's what we want to continue to do. But playing Centerville that early, obviously, in that event, it's going to be a great opportunity to go out there and play a great team and kind of just see where we're at, see what we need to continue to improve on at that point in the season. But we're looking forward to it. They got a great team. And, it should be a great game, great rematch.
Well, thank you, Coach, for coming on. Coach Eric Kruger, the head coach of the defending Division I state champion Pickerington Tigers, as they look to repeat again this year. We appreciate you coming on.
Coach, as I say always, you always come prepared.
And
for sure. I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, and we'll see you next Saturday at the All Ohio Showcase. As you got a big one, Coach. Spires they're playing some basketball right now.
And they got a really good group. They do. They got some guys. They're very talented. Looking forward to that, man. And we'll have to talk more, man. I'll keep talking if you guys want to keep talking.
I know. We would love to keep talking, Coach, but we got some other guys coming on, man. Hey, we love you, man. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Coach. All right, I'll see you, JL. I'll see you guys.
Hey, that was Coach Eric Kruger, man. That's my guy. Hey, he's done a great job there. I mean, he's built that program up, Coach.
That Pickerington is probably the city as a whole is probably one of the top 5 sports towns in Ohio.
They've done a great job over there. They're building Pick North does a great job of sports. Pick Central does a great job of sports. And they do a great job over there. Hey, we'll be back. We got another special guest. And before the show is over, we will do the Coach Howard's top 15 players in Central Ohio. We'll be right back.
Hello, I am Annie J. Ross Womack, the Executive Director of the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, and I'm here to talk to the parents and student athletes about a very important topic. The NCAA has instituted different standards for all divisions of student athletes. Before you can play sports in any college or university, you must present a negative trait status or hemoglobin status documentation. Your hemoglobin status is taken at birth with the newborn screening. And what they do is they run your blood for any abnormality or any birth defect. There are thousands of newborn screening birth defects in this country. For more information about sickle cell disease, sickle cell trait testing, you can call our offices at 614-228-0157. Or you can visit us via web at ohiosicklecell.org.
Need help with digital marketing? Yamo has what you need to optimize your digital engagement and take your business to that next level. Yamo is a full-service media collective that offers multiple services, including digital marketing, to optimize your company's success. These services include promotional and posting assistance, social media analysis, as well as market analysis. If interested, please reach out through the website or the email featured below.
Hey, we're back, getting ready for another state championship. Coach Quentin Rogers from Richmond Heights won the state last year. We're fortunate to have had him as a part of our program for quite a long time, and we're excited to get him on the show. Uh, Coach Rogers, are you there? Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm all right. What's going
What's
on?
up, Coach? What's up in Northeast Ohio?
Yeah, you
Snow.
you look like it too, with your coat on, your hat
Yeah,
on.
I just walked through the door.
Oh, you're at your office?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all got practice today?
Yeah, we got practice tonight.
Coach, you know, you won the state championship last year. By the way, Coach Rogers is one of our EYBL coaches that have been with us for quite a number of years. He's from Central Ohio as well. Um, you won the state championship last year. How hard is it going to be to repeat that again with the team you have this year compared to the team you had last year? Because you've went into Richmond and built a program.
Yeah, we're young, so we're not even worried about states. We just worried about the first quarter of the game that we got to play. So just worrying about development, IQ, just getting the understanding and ingrain the culture in. That's about it.
Jerry?
Coach, when you win a state championship, you did it in great fashion. But what you also did is you did it with a young roster. What do you feel a little more veteran going into this season with the younger kids?
No, the backcourt has the most experience, and they're sophomores. Um, so we're really young and inexperienced.
You had a transfer come in recently, didn't you? How much is that transfer going to help you?
Well, he's going to help another versatile player. We just got to understand the system and things we do. But he's doing a good job so far.
Now, Coach, you're Division 4, am I correct?
Yes.
But you play a Division 1 non-conference schedule. What how has this helped you, and did it help you last year in your run as well towards the state championship?
Well, if you want to be considered one of the better teams in the state, you have to play people. So we love to have a tough scrimmage schedule all the way through to the regular season schedule. We like to be pushed. We like to play on the road. I think that just builds more mental toughness for when it counts in the tournament. The regular season, that's what it is. It's just regular. That's what we learn. We want to be undefeated during the tournament.
Jerry?
Coach, you've got Dorian Jones. I look at some of the rankings. He's probably one of the top 2 players in the sophomore class in the state of Ohio. What is it you're expecting from him this season?
Well, he's got the maturity level's going to have to raise up because he's one of the 2 with experience. So he has to be a leader, and so he's doing a good job of that. But he has to speed up his process. Last year, there were seniors that he could lean on for different things, or they would take over. Now he has to be the voice. And I think that's going to help him later on down the line, being an elite player and playing at an elite level in college.
Now, Coach, you've went in and you've built this program. You went in, and a lot of people were not familiarized with Richmond Heights down in that area. You've went in and built that program to a Division 4 powerhouse. You have guys that want to transfer to your school. The guys like to play for winners. What do you say about what is it you want people to know about Richmond Heights, about your program, about the school, about the community?
Oh, it's a tight-knit community. It's small, real personable. The classrooms are small, personable. So we do a real good job of integrating the community with the basketball. Right now, the basketball team's kind of the face, but we got others up and faculty. So all that helps.
Can you hear us, Coach?
Now I can.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you've been coaching in AAU for quite a long time, and you've put a lot of players in college. What keeps you going in your coaching from leaving high school that you coach from September through March? Then you go from AAU from March to August. You may get a month of resting, but August is a big recruiting month. What keeps you driving? What's your driving force behind what you do 12 months, 11 months out the year?
I just like developing players. That's really more so than anything, developing players and just putting my hands on them, putting a little bit of knowledge and wisdom into them. And then, hopefully they can reach their goals. If they reach their goals, then I reach my goal. So whether it's AAU or high school, just taking care, making sure that I'm advancing kids and helping them with their goals. But it's more or less a development thing, more than anything.
Coach, you've been at both ends of the spectrum. You coach high school, you coach AAU. What is it you would give a high school coach the parallel between AAU and high school basketball as it relates to uplifting their players in the recruiting process?
I would want to pick a program that mirrors kind of what I do. So whatever you are as a high school, whatever your culture is, try to look for an AAU program that kind of like mirrors that, and that'll help develop your players. I wouldn't just send players just to a name. I would make sure that they're getting coached and taught. And I would also, I know some people don't like AAU, but I would definitely use AAU as a springboard to help get some of my players out there known across the country and to coaches. It's a good, viable resource. I know it gets a bad rep, but there's great AAU programs across Ohio. You may not be a seasonal coach. You may have to go a little past your season to help get your players to where they need to be. And if they're where they need to be, then your program will benefit from it.
Well, Coach, we're not going to hold you long. We know you got practice, and we appreciate you coming on, taking your time out of your busy day to come on. You are part of our family, have been for a long time.
Yep.
Any last remarks that you?
Coach, like I said, we talk, and one of your emphasis is always getting players ready for college. But one thing that you've always told me is teaching players how to win. How would you relate that in terms to the college level where their expectations are higher?
Well, I think with this day and age, we get a little too caught up in social media and highlights and things of that nature, but that doesn't win games. So it's going to be the little stuff. So I always preach the little stuff, because as a freshman, you ideally want to get on the floor as a freshman. So it's going to be little things you're going to have to do. They're not necessarily worried about your step back or a crossover or anything like that. That doesn't necessarily win games. You have to understand that it's a business at the next level, and the business is winning. So you need to be worried about doing things that help win games, as opposed to things that just may deal with you, because dealing with you may end up putting you in the transfer portal.
Coach, that's a heck of a way to leave it, right?
Hey, what can I say?
Hey, thank you very much for coming on, man. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you next week at the All Ohio Showcase. You got a good one that you're going to be playing next week too, Coach. And
for sure.
And we look forward to seeing you then. And good luck on your season. And
hey, look forward to seeing you this Saturday, man. Get on 71 South and head down to the bus.
I'm coming home.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, see ya.
Bye-bye. Hey, that was Coach Quentin
does a
Rogers.
great job. One of the coaches that in Ohio that understands AAU and high school and how to correlate them to make it best for his players?
Well, he won 3 national championships or 4 in AAU.
Oh, he's won maybe
Yeah.
8 or 9,
Yeah,
10.
national championships.
Won a Peach Jam, which is
Yeah.
one of the hardest tournaments in the country to get a champion.
Yeah, and he won high school state championships. So he wins wherever he's at, and we're blessed to have him as a part of our program. And I'm sure Richmond Heights is blessed to have him as a part of their program. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to come back hopefully with Coach Howard's top 15 players.
Now, we didn't win all in on Division II.
Yeah.
But obviously, most people, especially in this state, Division One, our Division One teams, our Division One players,
Yeah.
they produce, they go to D1 schools. That's where a
Yeah.
lot of our talent is.
Yeah.
This year, we have a top 5 rankings for Division One. There's been some changes
Been some changes.
over the years, but
Right,
we
right,
do
right.
have our Division One top 5 rankings. You see that on the screen. Princeton,
Yes.
Pickerington Central, one of our local
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
Another one, Dublin Kaufman, Mason,
Yep. And Olmsted Falls.
and Olmsted Falls. Those are our top teams. We do want to give a shout out. We have a local team, Westerfield South, and Reynoldsburg, who won the 2022 Division I state
Yeah,
championship
they did.
last
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Are one of our bubble teams. They had a lot of players leave, but hey, good coaching.
Oh,
have
yeah.
some solid returners. They'll be looking. But
They're going to be good.
our top, we keep focusing on these top 2. Please forgive us. Princeton.
Candace, that Princeton team. Listen. They are loaded.
Okay.
From your top player, you're probably your best player in the state right now, in my opinion, just with the history. Soleil.
Louisville.
And then it goes literally, I'm not kidding. I'm talking about like their starting 5
Wow.
is ridiculous.
Wow.
They'll probably all go Power 5, Division 1.
Get
Probably, Division 1 for sure. And then there's a couple that's going Power 5.
okay, Princeton.
And then they're deep. Coached by the great D. Davis, Ohio's own.
Okay.
McDonald's All-American.
Shout
D.
out
Davis.
Ohio.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
D is awesome. She came back to her school and has taken this team and she's put something together that
Okay.
is dynamic.
Okay.
Dynamic.
And that's
I'm
why we
telling
got them ranked 1.
you, you have to go see them.
Yeah.
You have to go see them. And I understand that when it comes to preseason rankings, it could be a lot of pressure and stuff like that. But I think if we have a healthy culture
Yeah.
of talking about these conversations with pressure, I think it'll be fine.
Right.
But we
Right.
got to talk about them.
Right.
Because if not, nobody's going to talk about them.
Right.
So, it's a,
We want to build the hype a little bit.
we got to do it.
We want to build the hype a little
We got to
bit.
do it. You got to go see Princeton.
We got to see Princeton. But
Yeah.
we can't forget Pickerington Central.
Man.
They got some players this year.
And they experienced.
yes.
That's the key. They are experienced, meaning they've had players for, that have grown. I think Barry Wallace and Madison Green. Like, I don't try to get into players because that'll be for another show.
right,
but
right,
you know
right.
what I mean? Because I don't want to be like, oh, you forgot
right,
my
right,
name.
right, right.
I know all y'all babies.
catch
Don't act like
all of
that.
you.
I know all y'all. But Pickerington Central is just a well-coached. It's an established team, and they have an established program. I think them and M&D may be fighting, if not fighting. I don't know. Don't quote me wrong.
Right.
Of the most state championships
Ooh.
in history.
Ooh.
Pickerington is. I'm telling you, Pickerington is top. If they don't have it,
Right.
they're 2.
Wow.
Yeah, in Ohio history.
Hey, I'm glad to be back. My special guest, the legend, the GOAT, Jerry Watson from All Ohio. Jerry, we're about to dig into Coach Howard's top 15. We're not going by no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to put them up there and roll with it. And there's a reason why I don't do that. Of course, everybody knows who the top players are, but this is my top 15 players in Central Ohio.
I'm excited. Hey, you're the eyeball. You got an eyeball on to get them. Let's go with it.
Let's put it up on the screen, and we're going to talk about it. Hey, listen, we all know that Devin Royal is the #1 player in Central Ohio, and we could easily say followed by Dalen Swain, and we'll keep going. But I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to put up the top 15 players in Central Ohio. And let's start out by, as you talked about, we talked about Jawan Turner. I believe, just my opinion, #1 point guard in Central Ohio.
You know, he reminds me, and I don't know if people listening really can pick up on this name. He reminds me of an old throwback of a Quinn Buckner. Just kind of like a tank body, engineers the court, understands what to do, can follow the coach's game plan. And I think he's really good at that. I think that he has, I don't know what level his college is, but I think he's a scholarship player that can play Division I.
Arness Lawson out of Pickerington North.
Super, super exciting, athletic, looking for him to have a big year. I mean, he can get downhill, and his shot has gotten better. And Coach Bates is going to give him what a player needs, is the green light.
Brandon Rowdy of Harvest Prep.
Brandon Roddy, another good one, a really good point guard, can handle things and run his team, scores an adequate score, and I'm looking for him to have a big season.
Cade Norris.
Lots of genes in that family. You know, dad's a coach, and, you know, if it's a Norris, you know, they're going to bring something to the table that shows basketball IQ, and he'll get a lot done this year for Hilliard Bradley.
Sharpshooter Carter Reese out of Westerville North.
Carter Reese can hit threes, 3, 6, 9. You know what I'm saying? Moves the scoreboard. I think his college career is going to depend on what he does this year for Westerville North.
Dalen Swain after Central.
Dalen Swain, and like I said, I don't want to give guys tags, but when I look at him, he is oozing with pro potential, like a smaller version, like of a Paul George.
Yeah, you're right. He kind of does remind you of that. Devin Royal. It's not. I mean, what can you say about this kid?
When you talk about Devin Royal, you're talking about a player. I watched him dunk the other day at the preview, and I think he's got a shot to be a pro if he keeps working to get where he needs to get. But he's as good as anybody. Like, you can put him in front of anybody, and he can still do anything.
And I've watched him just continue to grow every year and continue to be the player that he is. And I believe he's a pro. I think he's going to do well at Ohio State. I think Swain's going to do well at Xavier.
Oh, exactly.
I talked to the coaches down there the other day. They're excited about getting him, excited about the opportunity to coach him and watch him elevate. And they want to put the ball in his hand.
Well, you're talking about a 6'8" player that can play the point guard. When is the last time you've seen somebody do that here in Central Ohio?
I don't know if I have.
Right. That tall, handling the ball. He handles the ball like Clark Kellogg did when he was in high school.
He sure did. He sure did. And I'll tell you what, Dom Akins, listen, I watched him again yesterday. One of the quickest point guards I've seen. He reminds me of a guy that played in our program years ago that went to Xavier University with the last name of Lavender. What do you think about Akins?
Dom Akins is super special. He can get anywhere he wants to get on the court. He can score, does an adequate job of running his team, but he can really light the scoreboard up. and his athleticism has really stepped up. And I'm really looking for him to average anywhere between 25 to 30. They've got to let him go out there on Livingston Avenue.
And I think Coach, I think Chucky is going to do that. Big fella. I don't think there's nobody in Central Ohio that can stop him, and that's Chase Walker.
Well, they call Gary Trent the Shaq of the MAC. He's definitely the Shaq of Central Ohio. There's no doubt about that. Big, imposing, has a good touch for a big kid.
He does.
And can score around the bucket. And like I said, he's a load. It's hard to handle a load.
It sure is. Okay, here's a guy that just transferred over to Afrocentric. Very quick, can get to the cup. He's helping changing the game over there a little bit. He's adding a lot. And Coach Bates is so happy to have him. Cortez Freeman.
Well, I think he's a kid. He's going to be a 1,000-point scorer in high school. I think he brings a wealth of scoring experience to the Afrocentric Nubians. Look for him to really elevate him and Swain. That's going to be the duo.
Now here's a guy. Our next guy is a guy that has so much potential. Potential way up here. 6'8", 7 foot wingspan, 7'1" wingspan. Gavin Headings, as he helped win a state championship last year, and it's almost like, you're waiting for that breakout.
I love Gavin Headings. I think he did a lot of good things for Pick Central. I'm surprised that his recruiting isn't where it should be. I definitely think he's a Division I scholarship player. But like they say, he's at Pick Central, and winning can get you things that losing don't. So look for him to capture a scholarship.
But when I talk to college coaches about him, there's certain things that they want to see from him. And I think this year they're going to see it.
Oh, yeah. Well, anytime you get an expanded role, you look better. And his role is going to be highly expanded this year.
Jesse Burris. Here's a kid that a lot of people don't know about, but they do. A kid out of Delaware Hayes that can shoot the ball, brings a lot. He's getting recruited pretty good right now. Have you seen him play? Do you know much about him?
I haven't seen him play, but I've heard a lot of people talk about him, and it's been nothing but good things. He said he's someone we should have our eye on.
Jordan Fisher, one of the rising sophomores in the state of Ohio, who we know well.
Super athletic. He can do a lot of things. I think that he's ready to take that next step to being the Batman.
There's a guy yesterday that I watched over at Pick North from Olentangy Orange, Jordan Edwards. I like his game. His recruiting is picking up. He goes hard, can finish around the rim, can shoot the ball. Do you know much about him?
I don't know a lot about him. Like I said, I've heard his name. I saw him a little bit at the scrimmage. I know that Coach Kalo is a fiery guy, and he's going to get a lot out of him.
Now, here's a kid that you got to love. Kid out of Dublin, Jerome, that just plays hard all the time, Ryan Nutter.
I've always been a Ryan Nutter fan. Like I said, we had him earlier years in AAU, a super competitor. Was really happy to see him get a Division I scholarship. He's going to have a big-time year. He's a hard guard, and he's big, and he handles the basketball.
Well, we've talked about my top 15 players. Who on this list that you think this year is going to have a big year?
Well, on that list, there's a lot of guys that's going to have, some big years. I want to see the Reese kid. He's trying to get some college interest. I want to see him do some big things out there at Westerville North. Another kid, like I said, Cortez Freeman at Afrocentric. They've already got Swain. I look for him to have a big year. He had a big year, at Canal Winchester. So those are some of the guys, that I'm looking for. And then Arness Lawson, he's probably one of the nice, pure talents in Central Ohio.
I tell you, Carter Reese has right now, in speaking with his father, he has 13 offers.
Awesome.
So his recruiting is picking up. I'd like to see Dom Akins' recruiting pick up. I think he can really go in and change a program, whether it's Division III, Division II, NAIA. I think he can play at that
Well,
next level.
Dom Akins is a Division I player. I'm telling you, Dom Akins can flat out score the basketball. And his his tray ball has really been more efficient than ever.
You know, let's talk about this high school season for a while since we've got a few minutes. I guess one of our guests wasn't able to make it on, and we've got some time to talk about high school basketball. You know, I'm excited that it's back, as you are. Um, what do you think about? Let's talk about this 3-point shot, 3-point clock. I mean, the 30-second clock. Um, I have some coaches that are for it, some that are against it. I can go either way, but I think we need to have one. But you have a lot of coaches out there that are against it because their style of play doesn't fit the 30-second clock. What do you really honestly believe? Do you think we should have one here in Central Ohio?
I think what should happen, they've got to find a way to best implement it. I don't think you can just throw it all out there. You have to kind of maybe implement it in processes, like maybe use it in some of the summer stuff that doesn't count as much to see how it works. Because what happens is when you talk about balance, some of the smaller schools, they don't feel that maybe they stand the chance that some of the bigger urban schools stand with the implementation of a shot clock.
Well, I've got some coaches that would like for me to do a round table, and I think I'm going to put that together. We've got a big round table over there, and I think this year, at some point, I'm going to do a round table of some coaches.
Well, I think you should, and when you do that, make sure you incorporate the little guy, the middle guy, the upper guy, and the top guy, and those, because those are the people that it's going to affect at the end of the day. And then they need to be at the round table, and then also maybe having more dialogue with the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Jerry, can you talk about how important it is for players to not focus so much on playing Division I basketball? You have guys out here to say, well, I want my son to play Division I, or he's Division I, when in all actuality, they're not a Division I player. They may be a Division III player, or Division II, or NAIA. Talk about how how they shouldn't be focused in on just one particular division of basketball, where the other basketball divisions can really help them, and how important it is just really to get an education.
Let me point out one thing. We have what we call rankings, right? And so a kid may be ranked at a younger age. Like, I'll hear a parent saying, well, my son's the number 5 fifth grader in the country. Well, who would know who the number 5 fifth grader in the country is? Who would really know that? But if that gets planted in a parent's head, and every level that kid goes up, the reality doesn't kick in like it's supposed to. I always ask the kid one thing. If he says he's Division I said, who's recruiting you? Who's recruiting you? Because if you're Division I, a Division I school recruits you. Or who's inviting you to games? Not you calling the school to get invited. They're actually inviting you without you calling. And then the biggest thing is Johnny, the layup shooter in the 5th grade, may still be Johnny, the layup shooter at high school. And that won't work. So you have to always, I tell parents, is make sure your kid is improving, because that's the best ranking in the world. Is if he's improving, he can maybe get to where you want to get.
That's one of the things that I'm very honest with parents. And a lot of times they don't want to hear that. If they feel that their son is Division I, that's what they want to know. They don't want me to tell them, well, right now he's not there. And I say, well, I haven't been doing it long, just 41 years, so right. I'm really not a good evaluator of talent, but he's not there. I think it's important that they realize that it's okay to go to NAIA school.
Oh,
It's okay, which by the way, Jerry, NAIA schools give full scholarships.
absolutely.
They give you full scholarships. It's okay to go Division III. A lot of great Division III programs. And you're going to fulfill your dream of playing college basketball and getting an education.
Well, I think what happens is parents as a whole don't understand how to do research, because you can tell where some kids end up just on the AAU teams. Now, every AAU team in this area serves a purpose, okay? But parents don't do research. Somebody can call them and say, hey, you should play over here. And then they go over there instead of just doing your research, because at the end of the day, if you don't do your research, the transfer portal is waiting on you if you get to the college level.
And how much is that hurting players?
Well, I think what it's hurting, to me, it's hurting seniors that's coming out, because unless you're a bona fide can't miss, a college guy who needs to keep his job will go to the transfer portal and maybe find a 23-year-old that scored about 1,200 points that can preserve some wins for him to keep his job. So I think it hurts the seniors more than anything, the high school seniors.
Well, what I will say is that allow someone to evaluate you. Be able to take, someone giving you advice and not just, listen to everybody, because everybody doesn't know what they're talking about.
Oh, they don't. And recruiting, first of all, George, you know this, recruiting is a process. And parents must know the processes if you're going to get your kid through the process.
Say that again.
Parents must know the process if you're going to get your kids through the process.
Wow. That's a lot. One other thing I want to ask you. AAU basketball. Is there talk about the different levels of AAU basketball?
Well, I think AAU basketball, to me, you have to know your talent level. When I tell you there's a team for every kid, everybody can't be all Ohio. Maybe, and everybody can't be Nova Village, and everybody can't be Hidden Gems, okay? But you have to find out which one you are. And so when you're having these tryouts, I tell kids to go to all the tryouts and see where you fit in, so that you can land at a program where you can play, develop, and get better. That's the key. You got to go somewhere you can play, develop, and get better. And then you can know if you're NAI, if you're D2, if you're D3, if you're D1. Because if you're D1, you need to be with a program that produces D1 talent.
How important is it? Okay, let me back up. Where are kids getting recruited at? Are they getting recruited in high school? This is a question that a lot of parents out there have. And let's answer that, talk about that question.
Well, first of all, when me and you go to a high school game, most of the coaches at a high school game are normally there because they're following the kid back to the high school from what they've seen him do in an AAU situation.
So are you getting recruited in high school, or are you getting recruited out in AAU? On the circuit, though.
On the circuit if you're doing what you're supposed to do on the circuit, they're going to hand you a scholarship before you can get back to your high school. But I think the high school stuff is so crucial because the academic packet ties into that.
But what happens is, a lot of times, and I tell parents this, high school coaches can't come out to see you in high school because they're playing the same time.
Right.
And if you see them come to a high school, they're coming to see somebody, but it's not going to be that often. It's going to be very seldom.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you do get recruited in AAU.
AAU is probably the biggest tool for recruiting, because you're at the Peach Jam and every coach in the country is around the floor. And if you're doing something that they like, you're going to end up with a scholarship where you don't get that experience on every AAU situation.
There's so many players that get offers from one game that college coaches have seen them play.
Yeah.
Prime example, Aaron Craft. When he got that offer from Tennessee, because was it Juwan that got hurt? Somebody got hurt.
We had the best team in the country. And so Aaron Craft
didn't start for us, though.
Yeah. At first, he was a gutsy defender, would defend anybody, a tough kid, back then, had a 3.8 GPA. I mean, he's a commodity for college basketball.
But the reason I brought that up is because I tell kids all the time, it doesn't matter if you play 5 minutes, if you play 10 minutes. Whenever you get into a game, you want to play the hardest you can because you never know who's watching you.
Yeah, and there's all levels there. There's low Division I, mid-major, high major, mid-major plus. I mean, so you got to find out, where you fit in. And the best way to do that is maximizing where you get your exposure at.
I know we're running out of time. I'm going to put you on the spot. And you've been put on the spot many times. I'm going to bring you back mid-season, though. Give me your Division I, Division II, Division III, and Division IV teams to come out of this region to make it to the States.
I think
just preseason, though.
Preseason. I want to say pick Central Division I. Mm-hmm. I want to say Afrocentric 3.
Okay.
2 is up in the air a little bit. 4, Harvest Prep is 4, right? Or are they 3?
I think Harvest Prep moved up to. No,
did they? Because they move them up and down.
Harvest Prep might be 4, I believe. But 2, I don't know. I like 2. I like Bishop Reedy.
Is Reedy 2 now?
I think they moved
Okay, because they were 3 last year.
Well, I think it was a lot of teams that got moved up.
If Bishop Reedy is 2, they're gonna be in the hunt. They should be like in a regional final or something.
Well, we're going to take a little break and we're going to come back with a recap of the show, and I have one more question for Coach Watson, and we'll be right back in a few minutes.
Hello, I am Annie J. Ross Womack, the Executive Director of the Ohio Sickle Cell and Health Association, and I'm here to talk to the parents and student athletes about a very important topic. The NCAA has instituted different standards for all divisions of student athletes. Before you can play sports in any college or university, you must present a negative trait status or hemoglobin status documentation. Your hemoglobin status is taken at birth with the newborn screening. And what they do is they run your blood for any abnormality or any birth defect. There are thousands of newborn screening birth defects in this country. For more information about sickle cell disease, sickle cell trait testing, you can call our offices at 614-228-0157. Or you can visit us via web at ohiosicklecell.org.
Hey, we're back. About to close out the show. It's been a great show. We had a coach, DeMarco Bradley out of Taft, that couldn't make it for family matters. But I'm going to ask Jerry a question here to close out the show. But let me remind everybody that December the 17th at Nationwide Arena is the Play-by-Play Classic. Off the charts. You've got Sierra coming down to play St. Vincent St. Mary's, and you've got Pick Central in a rematch of last year's exciting Division I state championship against Centerville. Real quick, Jerry, that's going to be a barn burner.
That's a game. I mean, you've got, Coach Cups has done a great job with the Centerville program, and then you got the defending state champs, Pick Central, and then you've got Devin Royal on the court, and it's a game. I mean, it's a game where you gotta be prepared, but it's also a game that's a true indicator of who's going to win the state championship.
And you've got Bronny James coming back with his brother Bryce James. You've got Scottie Pippen's son. You've got Anthony Hardaway's son. You've got Sierra Canyon, which is #2 in the country, going up against Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. There's the schedule right there. You got Cleveland Heights going up against Olentangy Orange. Garfield Heights going up against Chaminade Julian out of Dayton. You've got St. Ignatius, a Division I powerhouse, going up against Division III powerhouse, Afrocentric. And you've got Lutheran East, one of the top programs in the state as well, going up against Jerry, arguably the #2 sophomore in the country, Daryl Peterson. Talk about him for a second.
Well, he's one of the sophomores that's getting all the national attention in Ohio. He's top 4 in the country, can score, understands the game. I mean, he's just really good. I mean, he's got a chance. Well, I think he will be a pro.
Now, you've got some say the #1 freshman in the state, Marcus Johnson. Talk about him. He's coming in town.
Marcus Johnson is really good. I mean, he can be in that same discussion.
So we've got a great day of basketball on December 17th. If he can show that again, the Play-by-Play Classic at Nationwide Arena. It's the nation's #1 one-day event. Your tickets will be at Ticketmaster. They're on sale right now. I also have tickets as well. Get in touch with me, and I have great tickets, floor seats, and close to the floor. Jerry, before we go, I've got to ask you this question that I speak with a lot of parents about. Look into the camera and tell a kid why he should stay in school instead of entering a portal before he even has anything. Because I had a coach tell me, Jerry, not too long ago, the percentage of players that go into the portal that never go back to college and play basketball is high. Why should that player stay in school?
Well, my thing is the school that you're at, if you've been there that long and you've had some success, you might as well do your 5th year at the school that you're at. Sometimes what happens when you transfer schools, you end up losing out when you could have been at the school that you were at getting major minutes. So it doesn't quite work out for everybody the same way. So the decision process has to really be stringent before you make a decision.
It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show, man. My partner in crime. We've been together a long time. I've been with you for 28 years at All Ohio. I've known you for quite a long time, man. I have nothing but you're like a brother to me. I'm glad you decided to come on the show, and what you've done for Central Ohio youth basketball is, it's just nobody else can repeat it, man.
Well, we just want to keep plugging away because this area it's just a major area. And I'm talking about just not now, but when you go all the way back to the 60s and up to now, Columbus basketball is just like, it's real. It's real. And now when you add all the social media components and all the stuff what these kids are doing, Central Ohio's blowing up.
Blowing up. Hey, I look forward to seeing you next Sunday in the Coach Howard Basketball Show, as we'll be talking about the games from the showcase, All Ohio Showcase, and the games that the other high school games have been played during that week. And we'll talk about the upcoming big games. We'll talk about Coach Howard's top 10 teams, see if they stay intact or if they change. And we'll talk about the top players as well and what some of them have done over the last week. I look forward to seeing you next week on the Coach Howard Basketball Show. Have a happy Thanksgiving, a safe holiday, and I'll see you next week. God bless. I love you all. Bye-bye.